Welcome to Spoiler Piece Theater, the podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. My name is Evan Crean. I am co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. I'm co-author of Your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, co-host of the It's the Pictures podcast, and my pronouns are he, him.
My name is Megan Kearns. My pronouns are she, her. I write film reviews and podcasts for In Session Film. I'm a co-host of the Slashers podcast, a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, and a member of Gallica, the Society of LGBTQ Entertainment Critics.
And my name is Dave Riedel. Boo! I don't know. I did that. My name is Dave Riedel. My pronouns are he, him. I do movie type stuff, and I'm also a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association.
Yes. And you're a guy who boos things and not necessarily even knowing what he's booing.
And boos yourself.
I just felt like booing myself, I don't know. Just it struck me as funny in the moment. Yeah.
Are they saying boo earns? I was saying boo earns.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my, Henry cannot get enough Simpsons right now. So, oh boy. Anyway.
Nice. I'm all about it. Although I haven't watched Simpsons in a very long time.
Neither have I. He keeps saying, have you seen this episode where Mr. Burns? I'm like, no, I haven't watched The Simpsons since like 1998. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's a lot
Definitely
of episodes to catch up on.
Decade.
Yeah.
So as we do, we have movies to talk about this week. We have 3, in fact. I'll get to those in a minute. But before I get to the movies we're talking about this week, I'll mention that over on our Patreon this week, we are talking about the 1991 film Clear Cut, starring Graham Greene, in honor, of course, of the late Graham Greene. And that was a very interesting conversation. And
yes,
if you're a patron, check that out. And if you're not a patron, please consider joining. For $5 a month. You get weekly bonus episodes like this one. You get access to our library of hundreds of bonus episodes that you can listen to. You can vote in monthly polls, and that is pretty sweet too. And we'll have one coming up in a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And while I'm on the subject, I want to thank our sponsor piece patron, Heather Sachs. Heather, thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
All right, now on to this week's movies. So we have The Long Walk, which is a horror movie. We have Highest to Lowest, which is a thriller ? And then we have Or Something, which is a little bit of drama, a little bit of comedy, and we'll talk about that one last. But we're going to start with The Long Walk. This is, believe, based on Stephen King. Is that right, Megan?
That is correct. Yes, when he wrote as Richard Bachman.
Oh, is it Richard Bachman? I didn't realize that was Richard
sure
Bachman's
is.
story. Nice. So it's directed by Francis Lawrence. It's written by J.T. Molnar, and it's got Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, and I'm not sure. Let's see. Is there anyone else? Charlie Plummer. Who else is in this that's notable?
Mark Hamill. Yep.
Judy Greer, Josh Hamilton.
Judy Greer.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, now it's on my must-see list.
And Megan, I believe you're the only one who's seen this. So do you want to give us a plot summary?
Sure. I'm actually going to give you the Wikipedia plot summary because it is much better than the one from the press release, interestingly enough. But yeah, it's very encompassing of what the premise is. So here we go. In a dystopian United States ruled by a totalitarian regime, a group of young men enter an annual walking contest in which they must maintain a speed of at least 3 miles per hour or risk execution. The contest ends when only one walker remains alive. So that is the premise. Absolutely. That the movie starts where on screen you see the text of a letter that our protagonist, Raymond Garrity, played by Cooper Hoffman, gets, where he's been accepted, because this is a lottery where basically every young man enters and only 50 are selected each year. And the prize at the end is a ton of money. I don't believe they ever say exactly how much money, but it's a ton of money, and you get one wish. Whatever you want granted, it's granted. And so this is very clearly, because this was written at the time it was written in the late 60s, early 70s, it's very clearly an allegory for the Vietnam War and for the draft. A lot of the dialogue feels very, I believe it's taken directly from the book because it feels very dated. Like there's certain terms like colloquialisms and slang, like the use of bread for money, which I haven't heard in like, oh my God, like, I don't know, 40 years, 30 years, who knows? So that's the world we're entering. And the movie starts where Ray is driving with his mother, played by Judy Greer, to the start line, and it thrusts you pretty much right into it. And like Judy Greer doesn't want him to do it. She's like, you don't have to do this. You can stop. And he's like, well, actually, I already missed the cutoff to decline. And so, yeah. And then the movie starts and they start walking, and the entire movie is the walk, the whole thing. And you get a couple of little flashbacks of Raymond Garrity's life, like of his dad, and how his dad was very much someone who didn't believe in book banning, and he spoke about radical ideas, and he was killed for it. And so Ray wants to win so he can kill the guy in charge of the long walk, who is played by Mark Hamill. And so that's his goal, is that he wants his wish to be, he wants a gun so he can then kill him and get close enough to him to kill him. And so the whole movie is a conversation between the characters, and Ray really connects with Peter, who's played by David Johnson, and he connects with a lot of the other walkers, and they kind of form this bond where, like, if one is lagging behind, they'll help them. If somebody's hungry, because one guy has allergies, and they give you food while you're walking. You can't stop to eat. You can't stop to sleep. You cannot stop to pee or shit. And yes, there is lots of shitting in this movie. Your favorite, Dave, somebody gets shot. They get executed because they need to shit so much because they have diarrhea. And you're given 3 warnings. You're given, and each of your warnings, you don't get another warning in that hour. The next hour, a warning is deducted. So you're constantly hearing warnings going off throughout the entirety of the movie. But so this core group that have formed, one guy has allergies to his food packets, and because like he only can take certain food packets, another guy gives him one, and they keep each other going. Like some of them are walking while they're sleeping, and they'll hold each other up, or they talk about each other's lives so they can pass the time. And they are the group that for the most part goes the furthest because they have each other to lean on and to give each other emotional support. But yeah, this is a brutal fucking movie. It is bleak as fuck. It is violent as fuck. It pulls 0 punches. This is a movie that when someone gets shot in the head, you see everything. It is so violent and so gory, and in a very refreshing way, in a way, because, and it's kind of, I'm sure this is either he was talking about it in response to the movie coming out, or perhaps this is a conversation that has resurfaced for that reason. But Stephen King talked about how he didn't like superhero movies because they don't show violence. Violence is very sanitized. This is not that movie. This shows everything. Like no, it shows everything. And, for better or for worse. And it is visceral. It is haunting. It is intense. You feel like you're going on this walk with them, again, for better or for worse, because there are parts where it's a little tedious but most of it is pretty riveting. The conversations are great. I would say actually the writing for me was the weakest part, because there's some dialogue that feels a little hokey. But for the most part, it is a captivating watch, mostly because of the performances, especially David Johnson. Love David Johnson. Great in Rye Lane. Great in Alien Romulus. And he is great here too. He is just such a presence on screen. His character of Peter is a very magnetic and kind of larger than life character. And he very much plays that with a lot of casual ease. And he's just so great to watch. I think he is one of the best performances. Cooper Hoffman is good. I find him good. But I will tell you who I think is, aside from David Johnson, the other best performance in this, Judy Greer. Judy Greer.
Love Judy Greer.
What a surprise.
I know. Judy Greer is amazing. There is this one scene where, so Ray Garrity is the only one, I believe, or at least that they talk about, who is from the area where the walk is. And so they've been walking a while, and they're walking through like the town where his mom lives, and she's waiting on the side. And usually people can't be spectators to this. They only can do that at the end when there's only like 2 or 3 walkers left. But the people who live in these towns, they can watch the walk. And then at the end, they like televise it. So she's standing on the side and she's like waiting for him to come because she has no idea if he's still alive. And she just like breaks down when she sees him, but like she's trying to kind of keep it together to keep him going. And then he stops and turns around and hugs her, and he gets a shooting warning, like that he needs to keep going. And she's like screaming at him to move. It is so distressing, but so good. It's great. She's great. She's in it just very briefly, but makes the most of the scenes that she's in. She's great. But yeah, so this is, oh my God, this movie, there's just so much. But long story short, we get to the end, and the two left are Ray and Peter. And Peter had said much earlier that he's like, I think when I'm going to be done, I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to be done. And so he falls back near the end so Ray can go on and win. But Ray stops and turns around and then pushes him forward, and then he stops. So then Peter is the one who ends up winning, which is different than the book. That's not how the book ends. The book ends with Ray, and like Ray is kind of like wandering because I think Dave, you had said like he thinks that the race is still not over or something.
He's kind of lost his mind, I think.
Yeah. And so the whole time Peter has been talking about the importance of hope and how you need that, and how he wants to do this because he believes in making the world a better place. And when he sees Ray shot by Mark Hamill, he then instead decides he's going to kill Mark Hamill to fulfill Ray's final wish. And that's what he does. And then he walks off. And so I'm not sure how I feel about that ending. I saw this almost a week and a half ago, and I'm still wrestling with that ending. I don't know what would have been a better ending. And it is extremely dire that here is the person who was the most hopeful, the most magnetic, the most kind of hype person of all of them. And then he resorts to the very violence that he had been trying to resist for so long. There's a brutal poetry to that. And it's fun. He's a poet, and he's been reciting his poetry throughout the film. So anyway, it's a fascinating watch, really captivating stuff, great acting, great cinematography, really violent and visceral. It's a gut punch.
Sounds like it. Damn.
Yeah.
Would you say that it's good killing?
I mean, it's not fun killing, but it is good killing.
I mean, Saving Private Ryan's not fun killing, but
that's
good killing.
True, but it's good killing. Yeah, I would say it's on par with that.
As far as quality of killing.
Yeah, the quality of the kills I think are very, very good. I also really like, this feels very much, and it's funny because Francis Lawrence, of course, directed 3 of the Hunger Games movies. This very much feels like Hunger Games, in that and they debate this, they talk about this in the movie too, that there is no other option for them. So all the young men apply for this. And there is kind of no other life. They're like indoctrinated to do this. So anyway, there is good killing. And the reason I bring that up is because there is good killing, but then there are also all of these ideas behind the killing too. So it's not fun killing, it's good killing, but then you also have all of these societal and political ideas wrapped up in it too about where we are. And it feels very eerily relevant to today, even though it was written so many years ago.
Yeah.
Very weirdly prescient, or prescient, as it were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's a brutal movie.
Yeah, it sounds brutal, but it sounds good.
Yes.
A good brutal.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to add about The Long Walk?
It's really gross.
Yeah, I mean, shitting and walking is no picnic.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
as Dave, you said many of these movies devolve into where are you going to shit, and
yeah,
it's just gross. It's gross.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That always bothers me about these movies where it's like blindness or, just like we've always the one where Willem Dafoe's stuck in that apartment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We just always got to devolve into where are we going to shit? It's like, just fucking shit off camera, for Christ's sake. Fuck me.
Yeah, that does not happen here. We see shitting on camera.
Awesome.
I mean, I feel like it makes, not to defend the movie, but I feel like it makes a little bit more sense here.
Yeah, it does.
You learn very quickly, like, oh, there is no room for any kind of wiggle room. Like it is extreme rigidity and control here. So like you don't even have a moment of respite at all to do anything. So
yeah,
you're just a cog in the machine. Gotta keep moving. Oh, I will say Charlie Plummer is also really good too. He's kind of an antagonist in this, sort of, but yeah, he's really good too.
Okay.
Cool. Alrighty then. Shall we move on to highest to lowest?
Sure.
All right. So that is the newest Spike Lee joint, and it is it's based on a Kurosawa movie.
Yes.
You are correct.
Correctly.
Which is based on a book.
Yeah, there you go. And so it stars Denzel Washington. This is, I think, his first collaboration with Denzel in a very long time, right? I think it's been like many years since the last time he worked with Denzel.
Yep, since Inside Man.
Yeah, so that's what, a good 20. Has that been 20 years already?
19, but almost 20, yeah.
Yeah, damn. Okay, so yeah, it's been a minute since he's worked with Denzel Washington. Yeah, it's Denzel Washington, Jeffrey Wright, A$AP Rocky, and yeah, those are the people that I was familiar with in this. It's got some cameos from different people in it as well, like both from the music world and the sports world. And our one sentence IMDb is, when a Titan music mogul is targeted with a ransom plot, he is jammed up in a life or death moral dilemma. Just makes this movie sound so much more exciting. But yeah, so we have Denzel Washington. He is playing David King. He's a music mogul, as the summary mentions. He's he's had this company, Stacking Hits Records, that he's about to sell for like a boatload of money, and he's having second thoughts about it, and he's like, maybe I won't sell, maybe I'll buy it back and make it my own. A decision he makes without telling his long-suffering wife, and I'm surprised she's not way more pissed off at him for this, because he's like, it's fine, we'll just cash in our investments and we'll just like take out a loan on our like really swanky fucking penthouse apartment that you see all these like establishing shots of the building before you see inside. And a lot of the movie takes place in there too. And so like when he's on the cusp of doing that and making some backdoor deals with some of the people he works with at the company, he finds out his son has been kidnapped. And, in the wake of, the police coming and all of the craziness surrounding that, he finds out his son actually wasn't kidnapped. his son's best friend, who is the son of his driver / best friend, Jeffrey Wright, is actually the one that's Paul. It's his son that's been kidnapped. And the guy who kidnapped him, A$AP Rocky, is demanding the full ransom, the $17.5 million ransom, and says, look, if you don't pay this ransom, I'm going to kill this kid. I don't care if he's not your kid. I've got him and I'll kill him. And so, like, that's his dilemma is, should I pay this ransom? Like, is my loyalty to my friend enough? Is doing the right thing in this situation, paying the ransom and getting that kid out alive? What am I going to do? And so there's a little bit of debate about that. And then he decides to indeed pay the ransom. And then the movie becomes kind of like okay, now we're going to give him the ransom, and how are we going to get the money to the guy? And there's like a whole, rigmarole about taking it on the subway and putting it in a backpack, and then it falls through the subway cars and lands in the middle of like a Puerto Rican like festival that's being celebrated, where like Rosie Perez and Anthony Ramos are playing themselves. And there's a chase through the streets where they're like following the bag with all these dudes on mopeds who are swapping it back and forth. And but they're not, they can't find the money, and so they're like, shit, but how, we got to get it back. And eventually he pieces together the fact that this guy who is a musician, who was like kind of on his radar, but he wasn't paying attention to, like, he was supposed to listen to some tracks of his, is the guy who did it. And he's able to figure that out by Paul's son is remembering this like rap song he kept hearing over and over again while he was like tied up in a bathtub. And then Denzel Washington, he hears it, and then he's like, wait, is this the song? He's like, yeah, that's the guy. Okay. So then he goes to like confront the guy and chases after him. And he ends up getting the guy ends up getting arrested. He's going to prison. And like the movie kind of like, the end is like, oh, like he's going to take a plea deal and he's going to go away, but he wants to like talk to you one last time or something like that. And so the rapper played by A$AP Rocky is like, yeah, like, look at me. I've attracted all this attention with all of this stuff. Like, you want to sign me? Like, you should totally sign me. That makes sense if you're like taking back control of your label, and like this would be an idiot decision not to sign me. And he says, nope, I'm not going to sign you. I'm going to go start a new company that's like a smaller label, and I'm going to do it for myself and have fun. And so he ends up at the very end of the film listening to this new artist that his son has been trying to plug and get him to listen to. So it's like him listening to her and be like, all right, let's make a deal. Let's make it happen. Let's make you famous. And I think that's all the important stuff. Am I forgetting anything, Megan?
No, you hit all the major beats.
Sweet. So yeah, what'd you think of this one? So
I really like Denzel Washington. I mean, I feel like feels redundant to say because he's a brilliant actor.
Yes.
And Spike Lee recently said that he is the greatest. He believes Denzel Washington is the greatest living actor, and I don't know if he's but he's certainly in the pantheon. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think he's great here. I find he often has an ease in his roles, and I feel like there's very much an ease here. He feels very believable as a record mogul, record label mogul, and so I liked him. I think Jeffrey Wright is also an exceptional actor, and I think he's excellent here. And I really appreciate seeing the two of them interact. I think those are my favorite scenes, are when the two of them interact, because they play so well off of each other and they feel like they're actual friends, and that they have this history and that they've known each other such a long time. I think A$AP Rocky is pretty good. I don't know how much acting he's done before, but I think he's solid here, especially the fact that he can go toe to toe with Denzel Washington, especially in that kind of like rap battle scene where they, confront each other. Yeah. I love the chase scene. And I'm like, this is, I mean, there are many reasons why Spike Lee is a brilliant filmmaker, but this is why. Like, the logistics of the chase scene, the subway, the mopeds, I loved all of it. And I wish the film had been more the heist, because I think the heist is a high point of the film. I'm kind of wrestling with this film overall, though. And I think Matthew Libatique is a great cinematographer, so it looks beautiful. It's got gorgeous shots of New York City. There's great acting in this, but there's almost like inertia here. There's a lethargy.
There definitely is inertia and
Yeah,
lethargy. That's like my biggest problem with this movie.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like, everything that I feel like should feel like it's ramping up doesn't.
Yep.
It feels like there are no stakes. Like, even when his son is kidnapped, it doesn't feel like his son is kidnapped. It doesn't feel like, even before he finds out, like, oh shit, it's my godson, like, not my son. And then when the moral quandary with that, where he's like not sure that he's going to pay the ransom, and Jeffrey Wright's like, no, you're going to pay the ransom, right? And he's like, I gotta go do something.
He's like legit, like talking to his wife, like, this will blow over, right? People will move on to something else if this kid like gets killed. And it's like, you can't even believe that he's having this fucking conversation.
Exactly.
Or like the other guy that he works with, the one he was gonna like make the deal with to buy the company, the guy's like, yeah, you gotta do this. And he's like, do I? And he's like, yes, you fucking do.
Yeah, social media will annihilate you. And he's like, I think they'll get over it. And it's like, the callousness with which he speaks about this is alarming and chilling.
Yes.
And I wish we had spent more time with that.
Yes.
More kind of like that I want stretched out more, because it is resolved so quickly.
Yes.
So speedily. But having said all that, so this was a slow watch, as I'm sure it was for you too. But there's something about this that, so it has kind of like a happy ending, yay, and he gets back to his roots, yay, but he's a shitty person. And I'm like, it's something that, like, it feels like a glossy happy ending, but not really. And so I'm like, is the statement supposed to be here that rich people suck and that they have no moral heart and soul? Is it that this guy has lost his way? Is it none of these things, and it's just, let's just tell this story? I don't know, but there's an artificiality to this film that is something I've been trying to wrestle with. So, like, the fact that, especially in the beginning of the film, like the first, like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, you see the same shot like 3 times in a row. Like, but you'll see it from like a slightly different angle. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, what's this about? And then when he goes to the apartment and it says A24, and it's very clearly a nod to film company A24. And so there are things like that like kept taking me out of the movie. And then of course, when you have the fourth wall breaking of the guy who's screaming Boston sucks in the Yankee shirt. And
this movie, I was gonna say, it is an attack on Boston on multiple levels. Yeah, they're chanting Boston sucks. There's like an ad just before that on the train that's like, I wrote it down because it was just so notable. It was like, we love that no hate is allowed here, except in like a star and then in brackets, except Boston. And then immediately after, the guy's like, Boston sucks. I'm like, what is this movie? Is it just attacking Boston for no reason?
Yes. And so Spike Lee was asked about that in an interview, and he's like, is the Pope Catholic? Of course I put all that sports in there. Like, because he's such a sports nut. So but like the artificiality of this film kept, and like the fact that it opens with the Oklahoma song in the very beginning, like, oh, what a beautiful morning. And I'm just like, what is this movie? And I feel like there's more here, and I'm not putting it all together properly, almost like a puzzle that the pieces are kind of not fitting together right. And so I'm kind of wrestling with it, but I think there are a lot of great elements here. So Yeah, that's where I'm at, where I'm still kind of like, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. How do you feel about it, Evan?
I did not like this movie. It was slow. It was boring, like very boring. For a throw, I'm like, I couldn't believe how bored I was for like so much of this movie. I agree with you that Denzel is great and is always great as an actor, and he's fun in this. Jeffrey Wright, same thing. Excellent actor, excellent performance. Love when the two of them are together. Yes. They have such a rapport. That's so awesome. I love the way they talk to each other. I love that Jeffrey Wright calls him beloved. And I love that they say to each other, I overstand. I love that. I overstand. I love the way their delivery on that. That is just such a great kind of rapport. And so, yeah, I wanted more of that. I wanted more of their relationship. I want to understand more of Paul's backstory and how he got to be friends with David and why David has such loyalty to him. And I think that would have strengthened the moral dilemma, or maybe the statement of, maybe just David is a callous, rich asshole. And I agree with you that is resolved too quickly. And it almost feels like it happens like out of nowhere, because we're mostly just seeing him being like, I'm not going to do it. And what do you think, family? And then all of a sudden he's like, we're going to do it. And you don't like see any of that deliberation really, which is kind of disappointing. So that was definitely a bummer. I think my favorite scene in the movie, though, is when you mentioned when he confronts A$AP Rocky in the recording studio, and they're on opposite sides of the glass, and he shows up and he's actually giving good advice to him as an artist as to like how he can improve his music. And then they start rapping to each other, and that was just, I loved that. I would love more of that. I thought that was like really compelling, as was the whole chase, as you mentioned, for the money with the mopeds and the chaos of the Puerto Rican festival and all of just the things going on in the city. Loved all that. So there were some moments where I was like really enjoying it, but it was just such a slog to get through on either side of those things. I was so bummed because I was really excited about this movie. Like, I know, Spike Lee, sometimes his tone can be all over the place, especially after watching Inside Man. And this movie also, I think, suffers from that. The score is completely wrong for this movie in most places. It takes you out of it. It just is not the right tone at all. It's like the opposite of what it should be trying to convey. Except for like, I think there was like maybe one part of the movie, and now I'm blanking on which part of the score was actually working for me. But yeah, I think it's funny to have Dean Winters in this playing a cop, but playing it straight.
Yeah.
He's just playing it straight as like a shitty asshole racist cop.
Yes. I'm actually so glad you mentioned Dean Winters, because that's another part that's like another artificiality of the movie, kind of a meta commentary, because he talks about like Jeffrey Wright says something about like just like the Allstate guy, and I'm like, yeah, that's Dean Winters, or like
Mayhem. Yeah, he says Mayhem.
Thank you. He says Mayhem. Yes. And I'm like, yeah, that's Dean Winters who plays Mayhem in those commercials. So
yeah, that was actually really funny. Yeah, there's a scene, Dave, where he pulls he pulls his gun out, and Jeffrey Wright pulls a gun out, and Denzel Washington says, "What is that?" And he says, "It's insurance. It's Jake from State Farm." And it lands. It is very funny. There are sort of few like legit LOL lines that mostly I think Jeffrey Wright was saying them in this. And then stuff that like was a head scratcher, like when one of them says they're as serious as pre-diabetes. I was just like, this line does not land. I don't think it's funny, and it's just odd. I also like the exchange in the hospital where the cops are like basically like laying into Jeffrey Wright's son. He's all like beat up and battered, and they're like trying to like get information so they can get the money back. And they're like really like just like being unfair to him and trying to be like, give us more information. And he's like, can my son just rest? And then there's that line about maybe you need preparation H, to which Jeffrey Wright responds, I'm fully prepared, brother. That was another fucking funny like LOL line in this movie.
No, that was great. I was going to say, speak 2 points to that. I do appreciate that there is, and it makes sense because, of course, Black actors, Black filmmaker, but I appreciate that there's a lot of Black jargon in it. Like, I'm Bennett and I'm in it. And like, or like, God is good, God is great. Like, there are those little like Black touches in there. There's also a lot of Black artists in Denzel's family home that actually come from Spike Lee's own art collection, except for the originals, which were reproductions because he didn't want his own originals to be messed with. Which I'm like, but like there are Black artists like Basquiat and other artists in there. Also, the detectives, you reminded me, I really love the conversation about why the ransomer is asking for Swiss francs. And then she's like, oh, well, I used to work in, the money laundering department, and it's much lighter. It's only 35 pounds as opposed to 300 pounds if it was in US dollars. So I thought that was a nice little touch.
That was. And of course, that was Spike Lee's other opportunity to bring up historically Black colleges. And she's like, I went to Spelman, Black woman excellence.
Yes.
And I was like, that is so Spike Lee that he was including a line like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was an interesting touch because I was also wondering what the fuck with the Swiss francs. And I'm glad that they brought that around. And there was actually an interesting explanation as to why somebody would do that.
Yeah, well, I have to tell you, it always drives me cuckoo bananas when you have a bank robbery film or some kind of heist film, and it's like there's no way that you could carry all that money. It's heavy. It takes up too much room.
I think they do it okay in Heat. It shows physically how difficult that is, them carrying that money out.
Yes. No, but that's what I mean. Like, that's great. But I mean, there are too many films that do the opposite, where it's just like, oh, it's all just a little backpack. And it's like, no.
Or when people carry gold in movies. The only movie I can think of where gold is heavy is Die Hard with a Vengeance. Because Samuel Jackson, like, I think he picks it up and he almost drops it. It's so heavy.
Yes. Like, that's realistic. Thank you. So I like that this film was thinking that. And also it shows that Young Felon, the rapper who is the ransomer, that it's showing that he put thought into this, that the whole thing that he orchestrated took thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's certainly compelling when we get to him, and there's the kind of square off with him in the recording studio, and then later in the, I don't know what to say, the holding cell or whatever, where they're talking. And the split screen there between the two of them, where we're seeing them on opposite sides of the glass talking.
Oh, that's just like in High and Low. I've seen High and Low. I forgot to tell you, Dad.
Yeah. I was bummed, though. I really wanted to. I was like really prepared to enjoy this. And then I was just like, oh, God, this is such a slog. No.
I gotta say, hearing you two talk about it, kind of glad I didn't see it.
No, I still liked it. I just didn't. I wasn't. I'm not like effusive with praise over it, but I still did like it. I think there are enough good elements here.
Okay.
Just trying to think if there's anything else to. Looking at my notes, anything else you wanted to say, Megan?
No. I don't think so.
All right. So then shall we move on to Or Something, the last movie of our show? All right. So Or Something is directed by Jeffrey Scotty Schroeder, written by Mary Neely and Kareem Rama. And it stars Mary Neely and Kareem Rama and David Zayas as well. And the plot summary here on IMDb says, tells the story about strangers who show up at the same apartment to collect cash they're both owed. The pair, one of whom is hiding a terrible secret, are sent on a journey across New York City. You know what's funny? I was just saying this to Shauna after we watched this movie. I would be mad if I read this. It doesn't really explicitly ruin the movie,
It
but
tips its
kind of
hand.
does.
Yeah.
Too much, like more so than I would want, because I feel like this movie does have a surprise at the end. And yeah, you might be annoyed if you are just kind of like waiting for the other shoe to drop the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, and you might have ways you feel about it anyway. And I know, Dave, we haven't heard from you, so I definitely want to get your thoughts on this one. But let me just extrapolate this out just a little bit more. So
Sure.
These two people, Olivia and Amir, they are going to this guy's apartment. This guy Teddy, this is like from the moment you meet him, you're like, oh, this fucking guy. Like his place is a mess. Like he's a fucking, one of those people who seems like he's like dumb as a bag of rocks. Like definitely always getting himself in trouble. Always telling people he's going to pay them money. He never pays them. And they're both like, hey, I need money. I need the $1,200 that you owe me. And he's like, I don't have it. But you know who does have it? This guy named Uptown Mike. And they're like, okay, who the fuck is that? He's like, oh, he lives uptown on blah, blah, blah street. And it's like, okay, can you give me an address? No. He doesn't want you to know. Can you give me a number? No. I can call him and leave a voicemail. And so like they just go off in this quest to try and find this guy. And so they like hop on the subway together. They're chatting on the subway. They like go to his place and find out he's not gonna be home till 3. So then they have to like wander around a bunch. Like they get lunch. They walk around Central Park and have lots of conversations. And there's banter, there's back and forth. There's a lot of topics that they cover, arguments that they get into, and then they come back together when Mike gets home. And it turns out, of course, Teddy owes Uptown Mike money. Uptown Mike doesn't have the money. So then they get in a cab together with Uptown Mike has a baseball bat, and they ride over to Teddy's place, and he's like ready to like beat the shit out of Teddy, but he gets the money that he's owed. And he ends up giving some to Olivia because Olivia is saying that she needs the money for Frank. Her cat is sick and needs a surgery. And Amir needs it because his idiot brother was robbing a bodega with Teddy and he got arrested and he's in jail, and Amir needs the money to bail him out. And so they're like, okay, we got $1,000 out of this, not the $1,200 that we need, but we got $1,000, and they're just going to split it. And then Amir is like, okay, here, you can just take it all. I understand. I have cats. I'm a cat guy. So here's the money. But like, hey, maybe let's like stay in touch. She's like, nah. So then they part ways, and we see the film wraps up with her like getting out of the subway and getting into a car with these guys who are drug dealers, and she's planning to spend the whole $1,000 on drugs. And that's like the end of the movie. It's like, hey, okay, how much is this? All right, I'm gonna like basically blow this $1,000 just on drugs. And so yes, that's the movie, and we can talk more about some of the individual interactions. But Dave, what did you think?
I liked this a lot until it decided it wanted to be a different movie in the last 3 minutes. I mean, I don't know why it just couldn't have been a movie about two people who like come together, have this thing, and then part ways. I don't know. Also, it makes you think the previous 80 minutes that I just watched, 40 minutes of it is full of shit, because let's just assume she takes up half of the running time with her dialogue. It's like, why did I spend 40 minutes listening to a lie? I don't want to fucking deal with that shit. Fuck off. So I don't know. I like movies where strangers talk, and I like that this was brief. I don't think there's anything like brilliant or revelatory in it, but I like the two of them. And I also liked, the guy who plays Uptown Mike has been in so many movies.
Right. TV shows.
Yeah. Just.
Oh, David Zayas? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I didn't look at the cast list before I watched this, and I'm like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Just like
Angel from Dexter.
Yeah. And the detective from Michael Clayton. And he's in
Tina's husband on The Bear.
Yep. I was just going to say that.
Yeah. And
yes, chef.
The movie where Nicolas Cage is the EMT, the overnight EMT.
The Dead, Bringing Out the Dead.
Bringing Out the Dead, yeah. Anyway, so he's in a million things, and it's like, oh, a real actor. Not that the other two aren't real actors.
Right, but someone you actually recognize from things.
Someone with some gravitas.
Someone with some gravitas. I don't think there's anything wrong with their performances per se. I think he's better than she is, but I think they're both pretty good at her playing standoffish and him playing more open-minded. I think that last 2 minutes is just so fucking regrettable. Like, I don't even need to, it doesn't even have to be that your cat is actually sick. It's just like, you know what? I am firm in my convictions that I don't want some random fucking guy, even though I had a nice afternoon with him, getting my phone number and hitting on me. Nice to know you. I don't know. We were saying off mic, Megan, between Patreon and the show, I love it when movies end when the story ends, whereas this is not that movie. So, and then we were also saying there's lots of movies that you think should end and then they go on.
Yep.
And I mean, it's hard to say that this movie wears out its welcome because it is so short, but at the same time, this is kind of like, I was going to make a disgusting analogy, but I won't. So, yeah, I was just thinking about it. And I was like, nah. So I don't know. It irked me. And things like this don't usually irk me. I'm usually like, okay, fine. Yeah, so you did something a little different. Mm-hmm. But it's like, so she's just going to fucking buy meth. I mean, first of all, her teeth look too good. So fine. That's where I come down.
Maybe she's earlier in her meth habits.
Yeah. She does not look like a tweaker. That's all I'm going to say. A long-term tweaker. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So Dave, the long and the short is that it seemed like you were enjoying it enough while you're watching, but that ending really was irksome.
It really was. It's kind of like how I feel about horror movies that explain things too much. It's not the same action, but it's the same result that I feel. It's like, now I know too much. I don't like. What's the movie with Ethan Hawke where he's in the haunted house and the kids all died in the house? What's
Sinister.
Sinister. That's the greatest movie until you find out that the kids were all. Oh, Megan you hadn't seen it? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I didn't. You got your earbuds.
You didn't spoil it. I took my headphones out.
Yeah, you got your earbuds out just in time.
I know.
He actually stopped himself from spoiling.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can spoil it. I'll take them out again. I'm like a half an hour in, and I have to go back and finish.
Well, let's just say that it's 100 minutes long, so we can do the math easily. It's 94% of a really good horror movie.
Okay.
Because some of the imagery in that movie is terrifying.
I haven't even gotten to the terrifying yet. So I'm excited.
My God.
I know. I'm excited.
So this just, it's just too much of a gotcha. It also feels like it's a gimmick. It doesn't feel like it's like natural. I know that this shit like this happens in real life because you've got the cousin or the best friend or whomever, the kid who lived down the block who's like, no, seriously, I got to go get my bike out of the shop. I need $450. And then you see him 2 days later and there's no bike and he's missing 2 teeth because he got high and fell off a roof. So that shit happens.
Yes.
I don't want to see that story that could so easily fucking make it interesting. Fucking pissing me off talking about it more. Anyway.
All right. Well, where do you land on this one, Megan?
So I really liked this as well, but I also liked the ending. So I diverge. I do agree with you, Dave, that I think David Zayas is great. I always like seeing him. I do agree with you that Kareem Rama, he is the reason I wanted to see this because I love him as the host of Subway Takes. He's great. He has such charisma. And so I was really excited to see him in an indie movie. And it's funny because he is a cat guy in real life. So to see him talk about his cats was such
real
fervor. Yeah. And he's like, wait, you have a cat? I'm a cat guy. Let me show
his
you.
Face lit. Yes. That was probably my favorite moment in the movie. His face so lit up when he said, I'm a cat guy.
because he is a cat guy in real life. Yeah, it's great. So it's very clear. At least he did. I'm assuming Mary Neely did as well because they both worked on this. Like, I'm assuming they put parts of themselves in, kind of very like Before Sunrise-esque with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, contributing to the script with Richard Linklater. So yeah, because I knew that about him I don't know much about him, but I knew that about him from his hosting that mini show, which is it's so good. I love it. But anyway, I liked this. I liked their conversations. I liked their rapport. I like that she opens up as the movie goes along, because at first I'm like, oh, this is not a very good performance from her. She's very monotone in her facial expressions and in her delivery. And it's funny because Mary Neely is on an episode of Subway Takes with Kareem Rama, and she's like a totally different person. Like, she's very animated. Her face is very expressive. And so I was like, where is that? Where is that expressiveness from her? But as the movie goes along, I feel like we get some of that. And so I was like, okay. And so I liked them. I liked them together. And I was so sad about her cat. And then to find out that Frank is the drug dealer, not the cat, I was like, well, that's a fuck you. But and he could have used that money to get his brother out of jail. And I mean, yes, that's very like codependent. Like, you can't keep, rescuing your brother, but at the same time, like, you're just going to waste on drugs. That's annoying. But the reason I liked that is, so I really liked the conversation they have in the tunnel where she could be alluding to a couple different things in that conversation, where she's talking about how people boxing her in and putting her in a narrative that she doesn't feel fits her. And so she doesn't get close to people. And Amir is like, and she's like, sorry, I didn't really answer your question. I didn't really tell you anything. And he's like, no, you actually told me a lot in that. And I very much got a vibe like, okay, there's a couple different ways this could go. She could be talking about a traumatic experience, like a sexual assault, but also she's also interestingly, and it's just the rings, but that's a very queer coded thing. And so I was like, oh, is she talking about her sexuality? I don't know, but I kind of like that there's a lot of ambiguity in that scene. And so we don't really know that much about her. And so I actually do like the ending and how it pulls the rug out from under us. It is very gimmicky, Dave. I agree with you on that. But I liked it because to me, it just hammered home the point, maybe too obviously for you or for some, but I like that it hammered home the point you never really know anyone. And so they had this moment of connection, but it's fleeting and you don't really know who you get. And for Amir, he is who he says he is. And for her, she is completely a cipher. She is not she's not there. And so it's all a lie. So it's depressing, but I kind of liked it. And I also, with you, Dave, I agree. I like a walking and talking movie. Like, I love when strangers are connecting and like walking through a city together. I love that. So I liked this. What did you think, Evan?
Yeah, I would say I'm kind of a bit. I would probably more in Dave's camp on this, but I liked the walking and talking. I liked the performances and the rapport between the two of them. I found her probably more irritating as a character. Just some of the stuff when she's like annoyed that he's making a joke, saying wordsman instead of wordsmith, and it's like he's making a joke, but it's just like there's certain things about that I just found irritating about her character. Like, especially the whole conversation about like dating and talking, and like some of his like perspective of like, well, I reserve my conversations for dating apps because I know everyone's there to like talk about dating. And some of that like back and forth was just like super annoying when he's like, yeah, but I'm just trying to be respectful. And she's like, yeah, but your respect is misguided. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, he's really is trying to be a decent human being. Or like when he's like, I don't want to go in there because I don't want to like make I don't want to go to my secret area because it's blocked off, and I don't want to make someone have a bad day, and that bad day will turn into someone else having a bad day. And she's like, just shut up, that's stupid, let's go in. It's like parts like that annoyed me, and then finding out later it was like all BS was like, okay, I guess I'm even more annoyed about it. It's like, now you don't, I'm like, I don't know you at all. I don't know if you're just like annoying, have annoying principles all around, or if you were having annoying stances that were just totally bullshit, to like one of those people who plays devil's advocate. You know, those people who are always like, I don't actually believe this, but then they like dig in on I've known people like this. They dig into an argument of something they don't actually believe in, but they just want to argue for the sake of arguing. That kind of situation. And I kind of like the twist, but I'm more at Dave's camp where I feel like it didn't feel natural. Like it's just, I don't know, maybe it's the way it was shot, maybe the way it was cut, maybe the fact that it was all too brief just felt like it was, I don't know, it didn't match. It just didn't match the rest of the movie. And I'm okay with like a really good twist, and because it is a good idea to like have this whole thing, and then like you're saying, Megan, do you really know anyone when the rug is pulled out from you, like so jarringly, like it is at the movie? Although someone should write a better plot summary than that, because you don't want to read that and then just be waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right, waiting for the terrible secret.
Yeah, it ruins the that great moment. So I don't know. I think on balance, I like this, but I'm really struggling with how much does the end like detract from my appreciation of it after enjoying all of the walking and talking and everything that was going on before that.
I also want to throw something else in. I have known a lot of junkies, addicts, and alcoholics throughout my life, like a lot. And nobody is that cool when they're hurting. That's just another thing I'm going to say. So no one, absolutely no one. So
fair enough.
Maybe she was getting drugs. Maybe Frank is also her cat. Like Frank's a drug dealer and Frank's cat, and the drugs are for Frank, the cat, so that he can be mellow, while he's suffering.
Yeah. Except she says, I don't want to die.
Yeah. Right. Well,
so there's that.
I think the scene could have been better if she starts getting frustrated with them because she's not getting any of the answers she wants, Yeah. This takes care of my debt. And, blah, 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 blah. Like, It's like, fucking come on, Frank, just give me the fuck,
Right. No, I hear what you're saying. It would have been nice from a narrative stance if there was like a tipping to what was going to happen, like a clue of foreshadowing, perhaps in some way.
Yeah. Shauna pointed out to me, and I didn't realize this when I was watching it, that she was being dodgy and vague about the health condition of the cat, about how it was like, some kind of kidney thing. And it's like anyone who's had an animal and has had an animal with health things, you know exactly what the fucking condition is. You can be like, I just had to Google it and I learned everything about it because I need to know what's going on with my pet to be able to like take care of them.
Well, the other thing is that anyone who's ever had a cat knows that they are highly prone to kidney problems and diseases. So it like, as soon as you say, oh, kidney problems, that's like, you're like, oh yeah, okay. So that like, I feel like shuts down conversation or questions. So she was smart enough to know, oh, I'll just say kidney thing and people will know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also mentioned that I loved the karaoke scene. I love them singing Semi-Charmed Life.
Yes! That was great. I love it. That's a great song.
About drugs.
Yes, it is. Maybe that's the tipping of the hand.
Maybe that was the tip off.
Although I never really pick the song. He did.
Yeah,
I never really listened to that song because I hate it. And then one time I listened to the lyrics and I was like, this is a song about drugs.
Sure is.
Funny how that happens.
Yeah. It's like when you listen to Steely Dan, you're like, this is a song about drugs. Like so much.
I mean, it was the 70s. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. This is a song about drugs, or it's a song about, I want to fuck this woman. She doesn't want to fuck me. And I want to get drugs. That's what their song's
about. Yeah. I was just going to say, I think he calls her this, but I like that she's prickly in the beginning. And I actually liked their conversation. Yeah, spiky. That's it. Yeah, she's very prickly, very spiky. And I liked that. And I like their conversation. I like all their conversations, but I like their conversations on dating too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she has a lot of valid points about, anyway.
She didn't eat because she was sick.
Yeah.
That could have been a tip off.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
You know what it is though? I'm not expecting a movie like this to have a big reveal. So I'm not even looking for that shit. You know? I just thought, she's not hungry, whatever. It's fucking December, it's raining, fuck this.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about the
yeah, but
eating.
he even calls her out on it. He's like, he asks her not about it. He doesn't say eating disorder, but he says, do you have an eating malfunction? Disability, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Which she makes fun of him for promptly.
Yes.
Yeah, she says she's going to have to remember that to write it down later. That's kind of funny. I've said that kind of thing to people before. It's like, I got to write this down.
All right. Any final thoughts on or something?
Yes, I want to say speaking about cats, I really like that David Zayas, Uptown Mike, he's like, fuck you, I'm not going to give you any money, even though you are owed money too. And then as soon as she says, my cat's sick, he's like, oh, wait, cat? I have cats. I'll give you the money.
Yeah. I think she's like, I've got 3 cats.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I
Here
know.
You go.
I love, even though her cat, Frank, is not a cat, I do love that they're all bonding over cats.
Yeah. That was funny. I like the title cards too, where it's like 4/4:30 or like around 12:30. That was good. All right, so let's recap. Sounds like, Megan, you would recommend The Long Walk.
Yeah, it's a brutal watch, but yes, I would.
Where do we come down on highest to lowest?
I like it. I think it's still worth watching, even though it's not as exciting as other Spike Lee films or as exciting as it could be. I still like it, so I would still recommend it.
Fair enough. I don't know that I liked it enough to recommend it, sadly, even though there were a couple of parts that I really enjoyed. And gang, where do we land on or something?
Yeah, sure.
I would say yes.
Yeah, I would say yes too. I think to Dave's point at the beginning, it is brief. So like, you do get through it quite quickly. And then, listeners, check it out to see if you feel like the ending works and let us know. Hit us up. Let us know if you think the ending works and why or why not. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that wraps up another episode of Spoiler Piece Theater. We want to say a huge thank you to our editor, Otto Clamor. Otto, thank you for making it sound so great week after week.
Thank you, Otto.
Thanks, Otto.
You can find the show anywhere you get podcasts. You can also go to our website, spoilerpiece.com. You can also get a link there to our TeePublic store where you can get our merch. We've got Spoiler Piece shirts, hoodies, notebooks, pillows, mugs, all kinds of good stuff, magnets. So definitely check that out if you want to support the show. We're on social media. We're on Facebook. We're Spoiler Piece Theater. I think we're still on Twitter, aka X. We are also on the gram, as the kids say, and you can find us on. Yeah, you can find. Where else are we? We're on Threads. Blue Sky. Yep. Seems like we're spending more time on Blue Sky these days, right, than Threads, but we're on both.
We're still on everywhere, yeah.
Okay. And what else am I forgetting? Oh, if you want to send us an email, spoilerpiece@gmail.com. Let's chat about the ending of or something, whether you think it works or not. And then if you like the show, please rate and review us. You can go to ratethispodcast.com/spoilerpiece, and more ratings and reviews is extremely helpful. It helps us gain cred in the podcast world. And if you really, really like the show, please consider joining our Patreon. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we're talking about the 1991 film Clear Cut in honor of the late Graham Greene. And you get access to, for $5 a month, you get those weekly bonus episodes, hundreds of back episodes in there. You get to vote in monthly polls, all that good stuff. So if you're a patron, thank you. If you're not, consider joining. And thank you for listening, everyone. My name is Evan Crean. I am co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's the Pictures podcast. You can follow me on social media as Real Recon. That's real as in film reel.
My name is Megan Kearns. I write for In Session Film. I'm a co-host of the Slashers podcast, a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, and a member of Gallica. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at OpinionSWorld or on Instagram and Letterboxd at The OpinionS.
And my name is Dave Riedel. I'm a movie type guy. You can follow me on all the socials as Dave Sees Movies, except for Twitter, where I am not, and on Blue Sky, where I am David Riedel, or David M. Riedel. You figure it out.
Yeah, just use the search bar.
We'll give you an assignment and figure it out.
Oh, you know what? Search on Blue Sky. Search David the Dim Riedel. That's what my screen name is.
Oh God!
Oh boy!
I just thought it's fun.
All right, we'll see you next week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.